Good morning. It's Dr. Tony. I am concerned. The headline I was reading is that $1 million will be lost to most of us professional women by the time we retire because we don't talk about money, because we're not being proactive about money. So I'm here to harass you about your money mindset. I'm here to mentor you and discuss how you know that you need to get a better mindset around money. Now, because you're busy, I'm just putting these out here for you to see so that you can do it whenever you like. But if we don't do it urgently, I have a feeling that it just doesn't get done because you're so caught up in the day to day grind. All right. So I'm Dr. Tony. I'm a physician. I'm a lifestyle coach who helps professional women build the life and career that they actually deserve. And they're not going to hand it to you. So I'm here to remind you that certain steps have to be taken. And the first one is to acknowledge that there is a problem, or at least look at where you are and get a better vision for what the future could look like. Now, a lot of women don't want to talk about money, but this is why I'm here. I used to work in the finance industry for several years. That's all we did was talk about money. But when I look around, there weren't a lot of women, especially women of color at all, so this is something I've noticed for quite some time. And this is kind of how I became the person who helps women get through these things because I used to negotiate contracts for a living, because I used to work in the finance industry. So I want to talk to you about these concerning figures. 1 in 5 women do not have enough saved for retirement. That could be you right now. And you don't even know because you're not looking or talking about it. So let's talk about the 5 signs that you probably need to change your whole mindset around money. Number one, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it, you don't discuss it, and probably grew up in a house where it was taboo to talk about finances or credit or investments. Uh, and maybe y'all didn't have a lot, right? So you come from a long line of people who were hardworking, but when it came to money, women certainly did not discuss it. And frankly, a lot of them didn't have access to it for 100 different reasons, whether it was earning it, whether it was because they were taking care of the family the whole time and the male figure was dealing with it, or maybe there just wasn't a whole lot of it. So it wasn't something that we wanted to bring to anybody's table. All right. So if you're not sure how much is in your retirement plan, I'm not saying watch it like a hawk while the stock market's bouncing around. But if you haven't made those arrangements, you don't um, contribute enough to your retirement plan, you're going to find that out one way or the other. So now's a good time because you can actually do something about it. Time matters when it comes to interest and compounding. Okay. So, number two, you make a lot of decisions around money based on fear. You are worried. Great example. Oh, I don't want to invest in X because emergency could happen. That's what credit cards are for. Credit cards are not evil. If you know how to use them, you can leverage points, you can do all kind of things with them. So if you're afraid to use credit, you're missing out on quite a few bonuses and opportunities, okay? And some people are just really concerned about debt. So they think they should be debt free before they make a move. That's usually a mistake because that house you're trying to pay off or um, other assets, it's not a big deal. Or the interest rate is so low that there's other things you could be doing in the meantime. Okay. So if you're not sure about all these things, it's okay. You can start asking questions. You can read books. You can educate yourself. But if you're not acknowledging that you have fear driving all of those decisions to just hide and not talk about it, then we're going to have issues. Okay. If you're catching this on a replay, let me know where you're watching from. I love to know that. And also, if you have, raise your hand if you have any of the signs. So let's just recap really quick. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about Bruno, right? So let's say Bruno is money. We don't want that to be our situation. Number two, fear. Fear is driving all your decision making. Fear is making you hide the fact that you're scared of money, or you're just not familiar, or you just don't know what needs to happen next. I was actually coaching one of my clients, and money wasn't the topic, if you will, but it certainly came up because it always does if you're being conscientious. Holistic, holistic is how you should approach every plan. And that means your mind, body, health, spirit, but your money is definitely part of it. If finances aren't part of the discussion, we have an issue. So let's be well rounded and not be so afraid. So, number 3, you haven't had a raise in a while. Now, I'm not talking about the little cheesy cost of living things that they do. They throw these little pennies at you and they try to appease you, but it doesn't even keep up with inflation. So I'm not talking about, hey, I stay with this company, I'm super loyal, and they give me these little incremental increases. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that it's not what your male colleague in the industry is making. And because women are getting paid so low, the wage gap grows. But what's worse is that your retirement shrinks. And number 3, I would tell you that the issue I'm concerned most about is that you're not willing to do what it takes to get more money. And so you think staying and being loyal, eventually they're going to recognize okay, good luck with that. Okay. You really should get in touch with me because we can make that happen very quickly. We're talking months, not years. So it's all about how you think about money and what you do next that will determine whether or not you're going to get that substantial bump. I've had clients come to me and double their income. Okay. I'm not making this up. Like literally, I've done interviews on my live stream where they tell you right out, oh yeah, we did this, we did that. I doubled my rate. I'm like, wow. So they work less and make more. If you want that to happen for you, it won't happen if you won't take a look at where you are and have some sort of difficult conversation with yourself and then say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to do something about this. Even if it's a small step, it's a step. Fear-driven decisions don't work. Okay. Number 4, comparison. We're talking about the signs that maybe you have some issues with your mindset around money. We do it subconsciously. We don't know that it's an issue, but sometimes when you're looking at the neighbor, when you're looking at that person over there, even working in your same peer group or department, sometimes we don't know enough of the information. We don't really know how they got to where they are. We don't know their journey, but we know yours. And if we could sit down and take a look at some of the things that have been plaguing you, all of this leads to some bad places. We know that it can get worse. That's the problem. You're so busy focused and looking around you, you're not looking in the mirror. Okay. This can all get worse. You can lose plenty of money messing around waiting for someone to acknowledge the problem. And that means you need to do something about it yesterday. So instead of getting distracted, we'll call it that. Let's not get distracted with what's going on around you. Let's just use it to be informed so that we can then figure out what you actually want and what you're worth in the marketplace. And it's usually more than you think because you're scared to look. So people like myself are going to nudge you and have this conversation. I'm not going to let you make all these fear-based decisions and hiding and all of that. No. So number 5, this one is concerning because you're setting the bar low. So if you aim for low, you oftentimes will achieve it and then try to just get comfortable there. If you're not setting audacious, goals that make you a little uncomfortable or maybe a lot uncomfortable, you're probably not going to reach your highest height or your highest earning potential. And this is concerning to me because we didn't work our butts off and go to school forever and sacrifice our family time so that we could then lose. You're in your own way again. All of this leads you to feeling underappreciated, underpaid, overworked. All of these are the things that we're trying to avoid. Burnout and wage gaps and all these things you hear about, some of it is us. And that's why I'm here to give you a hard time at the crack of dawn. Why? Because luckily, I'm a family mom now. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have all these things going on. I just want to make sure I didn't miss out on our conversation. So we're going to have it early today. So not setting the big goals, not writing it down, not being willing to discuss it because money is taboo. It caused a lot of strife in your life in the past or now. You're one of the biggest earners around in your family, etc. All of that stuff can make you make some short-sighted decisions. Okay, so let's recap really quickly. Here's the 5 things that you have at least one of these, I promise you, because it's showing up in how you're working every day. It's showing up how you handle your budget, etc. Number 1, you're not talking about it, or you have a relationship that's negative with money. Number 2, you let the fear of going into debt or an emergency that comes out of nowhere, like a tsunami, that's what credit's for, make you pause. Number 3, you haven't had a raise or an increase in quite a while, or if you honestly talk about the median income in your market, you're not getting paid what you're worth, and that's just a fact. Number 4, you're distracted. You're looking around, you're comparing yourself to other people without actually taking action. And number 5, you do not set realistic nor ambitious goals about where you belong. So you're underpaid as a result, which obviously makes us lose, on average, $1 million. Don't be a woman of color. Forget it. It's even worse. So I want to make sure that we get used to discussing and talking about money, talking about the future, and break the generational curses. We want to have real assets, and it starts with talking about finance. It's not always leaving money, but it is about wealth building. It is about all the sacrifices that were made for you to be here. We want to make sure we don't miss out waiting for someone to recognize us. It's not going to happen. So if you want to discuss those ambitious goals you want to make, give me a call, drtonymd.com/talk. The sooner you get on my schedule, the sooner we can fix it. And we'll talk about a little bit about why you haven't made the moves. It's okay. Let's talk about where you are now, and then let's build you a ambitious plan for the future that looks and feels good, so that when you roll out of bed and leave the people you love, it's for the right reasons. And if you aren't in a family way yet, if you don't have the family you want yet, that's even more of a reason to get in position, because so many of us are the breadwinner in the house, or we have such a big income, it can't be ignored. All right, drtonymd.com talk. I want to make sure you know where you could be a few months from now, because if you have a written plan, you're more likely to actually execute it. And the more you discuss it with the right people, not those fearful people, not those scarcity mindset people, but the ones who believe in you the way you should soon believe in yourself, the further you're going to be. drtonymd.com/talk. Talk to you soon. Take care. We are going to talk next about what real self-care and what it isn't. And I promise you, it is not bubble baths. That's our next topic. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.